Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is a sensor? What is sensorality? So we've derived up into the point of PV equals nRT. Pressure exists because vibration is bounded, a physical limitation of motion. Momentum is local. And we explored the relationship of momentum and vibration. Does my notebook have momentum? Does my notebook have vibration? All right, and then we had vibration is temperature. So in relation to our PV equals nRT, vibration is proportional to pressure. Vibration is temperature. And so just moving along with our derivation, a lot of renormalizations, a lot of fundamental theorems. We'll spend some time, our typical kind of pace or tempo, since we used that word last time. But again, it's about the overall conceptual progression paired to the linguistics. Linguistics and language is like horseshoes and hand grenades. Once we get our base concept, what is sensorality, that concept connected to its natural definition concept, the linguistics will be trivial. We are explicitly articulating all of the linguistic conceptual implications of what is a sensor and identifying its natural definition. And so what is momentum, what is vibration, what is tension, kind of our big linguistic, direct physical, ontological concepts. And so just moving through, picking up where we left off. Sensorality is tempo. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, a direct truncation of the word temperature, you get temper. What is complacency to dormancy? Is dormant complacent? Sensorality radiates information. Contemporary is temporary. Natural definition, temperature is temporary. Transient is temporary. Temperature is transient. Sensorality is transientality. Sensorality is scientality. Again, direct truncation of that transientality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is salientality, or salientality. Salientality. Leans are salient. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is temperature to stability? What is stability to vibration? Is stability fragile? Again, rhythm maximizes momentum, rhythm stabilizes. Right? We have a circadian rhythm, you have a heartbeat. What is rhythm to temperature? Rhythm limits temperature. Right? Temperature is vibration, temperature is disorder. That energy, that movement potential that is not converted into momentum causes heat. And rhythm limits heat, rhythm limits disorder, right? Sound, heat, anything that could be called entropy to any extent is limited by rhythm. And then ultimately, kind of on our from rhythm to algorithm, what is the relationship of rhythm and vibration? What is stability to fragility? Direct iteration. Sensorality is a pressure point. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, the consensus usage. I have pressure points. You're a little kid. Oh, you pressed me right here. You pressed me right here. That's my pressure point. But again, in kind of my initial introductions, we've called things tension points. Tension points are pressure points. Sensorality is a point of pressure. A pressure point is a place of contention. Fundamental theorem of mathematics, a point is a place. Natural definition, direct iteration. Right, I would say point, but if you ask anybody what's the most fundamental geometric object, even without saying geometric object, just what's the most fundamental shape, I would think they would say point or sphere. Again, what is a point to a sphere? Because again, all of the words we use are naturally defined in quote-unquote 3 dimensions. And so when we say area or when we say circle, those are still reflecting the physical properties of 3-dimensional space. Again, using consensus verbiage for some of the stuff. What is inspection to contention? What is inspection to selection? Special is select. Natural definition, direct iteration. That explicit step, again, we've hit that one letter by letter before. But I'm just emphasizing, like I said, each step is is equally important or equally the same quality of analysis as any other step. the videos just kind of end when I'm done doing, there seems to be a fundamental limit of conceptual progress. You can always do a little more derivation, but it's not that insightful or not even worth my time, frankly. And so just emphasizing that each kind of day is kind of like a new start, but the overall conceptual feel, I never lose that. And it's just more of like it's like taking a break from editing a paper, right? You read one paper, you've read it 100 times for 5 hours, and it's like, okay, go take a break so you like see it with fresh eyes. That type of feel happens, again, from going to sleep and waking up. But again, each step is just one step of a derivation. There doesn't really seem to be any qualitative difference. Emphasizing that this time special is select. When we re-hit these same exact word-for-word theorems, it's a re-derivation of the concept. It's like I'm like looking at something. Just emphasizing how this is done. Sensorality is inspectionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Inspection, insection. Again, insect is a word, and then just linguistically an ION, but a direct elementality expansion of inspection to insection, you just take away the P. That elementality of inspection contains insection. Not really a word, but the conceptual progress, you can immediately feel what I'm saying. Sensorality is insectionality. Natural definition, direct iteration, and then that produces, that generalization produces, again, one complete word that you can just separate or use a space and create two complete words. Insectionality. Sensorality is infectionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is infection to intersection? Insectionality is intersectionality. Natural definition, direct iteration, emphasizing we're adding the syllability TER. And so, again, that's one where it's like we generalize it here in a second, but we're isolating linguistically, again, undefined syllability, right? To have this unique definition, which last episode we kind of stumbled upon our definition of logic, right? It is what it is. This notebook is this notebook. I am me. If I have two pens from the exact same pack, they're not the exact same atoms. And so it's uniqueness, one thing related to other uniqueness, uniquely. And just a direct iteration of unique. Right, logic is the uniqueness related, again, we said it last episode pretty naturally. But just emphasizing, that was a working definition of logic. But where are we at? What is instruction to intersection? What is interaction to instruction? So now intersectionality, interaction, we take away that TER and we just generalize. Sensorality is terality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Fundamental theorem of mathematics, again, a section is an area. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is area an idea? Direct iteration, is area easy? Direct iteration. Sensorality is areality. Natural definition, direct iteration, add a space. Sensorality is a reality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Area is real. Natural definition, direct iteration. Restating the fundamental theorem of physics, an element is a unit. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, the spacing present because we have this fundamental stabilized elementality, an electron. What is reality to elementality? Fundamental theorem of logic, sensorality is elementality. Natural definition, direct iteration. In sensorality, the letters is going to stabilize, again, two other chunks of conceptualization that are well understood, and it'll give us our definition. Is an electron an element? Fundamental theorem of physics, sensorality is electronality. Literally electron plus ality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is an electron to an election? Sensorality is electionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Are elections electric? Sensorality is electivality. Natural definition, direct iteration, like an elective. What is electivality to vibrationality? A direct iteration of the consonants V, V. Consent is elective. Is elective protective? Sensorality protects consent. Direct iteration. Is protective productive? What is electivity to selectivity? Again, all of this whole process is direct iteration. Again, we've emphasized or explained the labeling previously. Sensorality is selectivality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is vibration selective? What is electivity to electricity? Sensorality is a pressure sensor. Natural definition, direct iteration. And I would say fundamentally, physically, that is the consensus context which produces what is a sensor, a pressure sensor. And now again, we're just developing the logical linguistic motivation to say, hey, here is why we spell it this way or that way. I have senses with an S, my notebook does not. Is my notebook moving? Does my notebook have momentum? Does my notebook have vibration? Does my notebook have temperature? Is my notebook sensing? But again, consensus usage, pressure sensor is a natural definition, direct iteration. What is preciality to sensuality? Sensorality is precious. But again, just a direct iteration of preciality, and then that phonetic produces this preservation of phonetic. Sensorality is pressure sensation. Hey doc, can you, the doctor, hey man, can you feel this right here? Can you feel this right here? Oh yeah, I feel a pinch. I feel some pressure. Or you don't say I feel a force. Fundamental theorem of sensorality, sensuality is sensationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is sensation to satiation? What is satiation to vibration? Restating the fundamental theorem of logic, sensorality satiates sensation. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is satiation to substitution? What is tuition to substitution? What is substitution to constitution? Which again, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, the Fifth Amendment, the First Amendment, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Still not a thing. Interesting. Sensorality is constitutionality. What is constitution to construction? What is construction to instruction? What is inflammation to oxidation? Again, emphasizing that OD of oxidation. What is the odor of oxidation? What is inflammation to sensitivity? Fundamental theorem of emotion. Morality is collective sensitivity. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is morality to consent? Consensus is collective. Memorality is collective. Memorality is recollective. Again, remember, recall, sensorality recollects. Recall is recollection. What is collections to recollection? Like the liability, the lien, collections to recollection. What is correction to recollection? What is recollection to distraction? What is recollection to determination? Is temperature tempting? What is tempting to attempting? Sensorality attempts. Direct iteration. Sensorality trains temptation. Is temptation empty? Direct iteration. Is vibration tempting? Sensorality is preemptive. Another clear word that people use naturally, and feels correct, and there's a big old hyphen in there. Sensorality is emptivality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is preliminary preemptive? Preemptive is proactive. Activality is emptivality. Direct iteration, natural definition. Are octaves active? I feel like we've hit that exact step before. What is an octave to oxidation? What is oxidation to vibration? Is oxidation exotic? Is exotic exact? Sensorality is exact. Sensorality is exactionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is exaction to extraction? Is proof exact? Is correct exact? Is precision exact? Sensorality is precise poison. A poisson, poison. Emphasizing poisson en français is fish, but it looks like poison. And I think poison every single time. And then there's what is poison in Russian is like yad, just like the ya and the duh. That's got an interesting one in Russian too. But something always going on there, I've emphasized that a bunch. What is poison to position? What is position to momentum? Sensorality posits a moment. Direct iteration. What is position to direction? What is positioning to alignment? Sensorality is positioning. Sensorality is directioning. Sensorality is directive. What is timing to positioning? What is alignment to synchronicity? Sensorality synchronizes positioning. What is positioning to posturing? Sensorality is a defensive posture. Natural definition, direct iteration. Does defense make a difference? Is all difference identical? Does change change? Sensorality is what difference does it make? Direct iteration. Sensorality is testimony. Sensorality is testimonial. Sensorality is testimoniality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Emphasizing that stimoniality strikes me as a word. Again, you just produce these word forms where the third letter's S and then the first two letters just feels like a prefix, or again, just like dimension, direction, and then the S forms are apparent too. Is testimony terminal? Is orality testimony? Sensorality is stimulation. What is stimulation to simulation? Does synergy stimulate? Is stimulation energetic? What is epidemicality to energeticality? What is mathematics to momentum? What is the theme of physics? Right. Motion, movement, momentum, temperature. Sensorality is thematic momentum. Sensorality appreciates theme. Sensorality appreciates momentum. Sensorality normalizes pressure. Sensorality appreciates normality. Direct iteration. Again, just working through our linguistic analysis until we have our complete conceptualization and we reduce our linguistics, proving our definition, calculating a sentence through linguistic containment, and just these letters are contained within this word, and then we can derive down once we calculate our complete differential, having common syllability in the exact way you have common denominators. So my rights continue to be violated. I continue to ask for a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. There was no magic step of analysis. All of these steps have the same qualitative demonstration. I've already demonstrated completeness before. And so again, what we're waiting for, why I can't just be treated like a human being to some extent, is still beyond me. Just a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. I say it in every video. No one cares. To my estate, press every charge you can possibly press. But that is what I have for now. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.